Welcome to Unity of Charlotte, where the energy is high and moving forward, that Unity of Charlotte energy that we know about. And it's good to see you all this morning. It's wonderful. And so I remind you that we have an extraordinary mission and vision. Our mission is to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. And simply put, we are here to, and remember this, to love, grow, and serve. Yes, thank you. So I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I am freshly out of bed, but glad to be here, delighted to be here. If you see little lines in my face, it's from that comfortable. It was the slippers, yes, you know. Well, thank you all for being freshly out of your beds too. So thanks for joining us today here in the sanctuary, where we love to experience it firsthand. And those of you on Zoom who are also in your slippers, and do join us someday very soon in the sanctuary. Now let's start our service today by sharing our statement of oneness. So say with me together, there is one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And now, for our daily word, just relax in place and take a couple of deep breaths. And as you breathe and release, just know that you are in the right place at the right time for a wonderful message that's been crafted just for you, because here at Unity, that's how it works. And our message today is inner peace. I am one with the presence of God. Sometimes the simplest phrase can provide the most benefit, especially in moments when I feel tense or harried. For instance, affirming God and I are one can bring me back to my center, to my place of inner peace. These words remind me that I am not alone, that whatever I'm facing can be met, achieved, or overcome, because I can draw from the wisdom and protection of God. As I repeat, God and I are one. And as I think this, I breathe deeply. I feel my heartbeat slowing and my body relaxing. I release, and I release. I release all anxious thoughts in this moment. There is only God and me. We are one. And I repeat this until I feel a wave of calmness gently enveloping me. And I'm resting in the assurance that God and I are one, and this gives me a warm feeling of light and peace. My soul yearns for you in the night. My spirit within me earnestly seeks you. Isaiah 26:9. And fairly soon, you are going to be hearing some updates here at Unity of Charlotte, and they'll bring joy. And I'm here to remind you that it was your thoughts, it was your prayers, it was your intentions that made it so.
Thank you, Reverend Pat. Let me remind all of you, both who are in person and those that are seeing us on Zoom and YouTube, that it was on July the 29th, a Friday, in the morning, when your board of trustees voted. We voted to invite Reverend Lisa Herklotz and Reverend Jim Ernsten to be our co-ministers. And I can announce today that a verbal agreement was reached between them and your negotiating committee on this last Friday, the 26th. Yes. We have just to work out a few details, but the overall parameters of our contract with them is really settled, and we'll keep you up to date and we'll let you know when the document is signed. Now, some people have been looking forward to this, but I must let you know it is not likely that they will be here until November. Things take time, and there are recommended a number of weeks when you give notice to a congregation that you are leaving. There's a recommendation on just how many weeks that should be. So that's part of it. And then the other part is for them to arrange to move here, which from Minnesota is a trek and a half, right? So, so they'll have to find a place and then arrange for the move to take place. And it just right now is all on the up and up, positive for us here at Unity of Charlotte. And I do want to thank all of the members of your board of trustees for their participation in the effort, their support of the effort to bring the two people you want to put in front of you beginning in November. Thank God.
Yes, and as Rita said so proudly, as we all feel, thank you very much, Lawrence, for your leadership. It has been extraordinary at the right time and makes everything flow like it appears that it takes no effort. So thank you for that. So we got double our intention. We got 2 ministers and they're both fabulous. So this is truly exciting. Well, we have some other things that are happening here. You know, there's the old saying, it takes a village. It takes a congregation is what it takes. That is our village, our Unity village right here in Charlotte. It takes a village to bring these things apart, up forward, moving them forward. And now we're getting close to a time for a very important event called the Unity Day of Prayer. And we're very grateful to Rita Passeur for being a part of this for a number of years. And even though we were engaged in some other very large projects, she was very, very helpful to us in coming up with a solution. So what we thought was not going to be possible this year is happening. Our Unity Day of Prayer will be a virtual event this year, largely because, as you know, it is difficult to bring everybody into the sanctuary with our shoes situation. And for that and for bringing on a minister and the other things that we're handling, we are going to honor the Day of Prayer virtually. And what this will require is to those volunteers to sit in prayer in their own homes and hold the day of prayer for a half hour for each half hour that you sign up for. And people are already signing up. So, and we haven't even released the sign up sheet yet. So there is a sign up sheet that will be circulated today. Yes, Alan? Alan's giving me the look. So we have a number of ways of handling this. You can call Alan, you can call Rita, and you can also sign, say.
Go to admin at Unity of Charlotte.
Admin Unity of Charlotte and sign in there by giving Alan your interest. And he will get back to you with a time slot. And if you have limitations, just let him know those limitations. Now, the Unity Day of Prayer, for those of you that are going to volunteer, and I'm one of them, because this is really important to me. What you will do is you will start your half hour in prayer, and then you can do some meditation. You can read a spiritual book, and it'd be fine if you read it out loud. You don't have to, but it would be fine if you read it out loud. And then at the end of your half hour, we will move into the next person. So you can sign off with a prayer and go about your life knowing you made an important contribution to the Unity Day of Prayer, which is a worldwide event. Now, I want to tell you the date and the times. All right. So the date is Thursday, September 8th. Say it out loud. Thursday, September 8th. No, I was not a grade school teacher, but I should have been because I have the skills. But anyway, saying out loud puts it in our memories. And we will start at 4 p.m. and end at 8 p.m. Therefore, 4, 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30, up to 8 is those time slots. So I thank you in advance. The benefits of the Unity Day of Prayer are these. You change the world by your devotion, participating. You also change yourself because you belong to something large and powerful that has been going on for many, many years. So please make a note to yourself to go to the admin Unity and email your volunteer. I want to also mention an important event. Nancy Dartnall's father has made his transition, and that celebration of life was yesterday, and it was truly a beautiful celebration, and it was marked at Covenant Presbyterian Church, where he was an elder and participated in that church for over, I think it's 60 years. He was 97 at the time of his transition and had been active and participating and doing things both at Covenant and also at Sharon Towers. So please hold him and his children and family, Nancy, her brother Robert, and the grandchildren in prayer for knowing their well-being and their ongoing adjustment to this new reality, and also a celebration of this marvelous man. I want to also mention leadership. You know, I've known through the years in my executive roles, as well as in being a faithful servant in churches throughout my life, that sometimes the word leadership makes people nervous. It sends something through their mind that says, oh, leadership, that's for them over there and them over there. Oh, I see a leader, but not me. Well, that's not true. There are many ways to lead in your own spirituality and for every place that you consider your home and your community. And there are many ways to lead. You know, when I first came here, I wanted to make sure that I had some grounding in unity before I moved into leadership, because that seemed important to me, but I knew there was one way that I could lead, and that was in prayer. And so I stepped up to the plate. I went to Reverend Marty and I said, I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do. I know how to do a few things. I want to get settled in unity before I represent unity. And he gave me a few things to do, and one of them was prayer. So that met with exactly what I wanted to do. My message to you today is you have already been serving in leadership, even if you've been a little quiet about it, because you have wanted the best for unity. And it has been your intention that brought us not one, but two ministers. So I want you to think of yourself as a leader. I want you to think of yourself as somebody with something important to contribute. And as I look around, I know each and every one of you. And I know the leadership that resides there. And so I would like to remind you, participating in unity is part of being the unity village, the unity congregation, the unity home. And you are our important leaders. There are a few announcements. The book club is meeting on the 18th? The 18th of September. Yes, thank you. Small print, it's all good though. And the men's group meets in person at the church on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month from 9:30 to 11. The dialogue as service continues to meet on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:30 p.m. The path of initiation will be moving to the nature of the soul in this book service series, Creative Thinking with our beloved Barbara Rolfe on Zoom. And our meditation group meets the first and third Tuesdays from 7:15 to 8 p.m. And it is wonderful 45 minutes on Zoom, setting a prayerful energy for the church, city, and the world. And that is facilitated by Barbara Rolfe and assisted by Maria Lape. She's always there. That's why I said that. All right. Those are the important things. I do want to say that the practice of unity principle that I celebrate today is that thoughts are things and they bring results. And therein lies the two marvelous ministers that are arriving shortly. If anyone you know needs prayer, please reach out to us through the Unity link. It is our joy and pleasure to pray for you. And you can also call Unity's telephone prayer ministry, Silent Unity, at any
Where's my pink jacket?
And somebody's not muted, and that's all right, because here we are. We are now ready for our service today. We are gifted with an extraordinary leader who messages this teaching so beautifully and makes it so memorable and shares of herself. She is both vulnerable as well as persuasive and thoughtful. She is one of our own. And I welcome Reverend Adrian Calabrese for the second in her two-part series. Welcome, Reverend Adrian.
Thanks. All right. Yup. Number 2. Are you ready? Am I ready? I think so. Okay. Well, the last time I was here, we did part 1 of Gotcha, Spiritual Consequences, Why, When, and What to Do. So the last time, I'll do a little recap here as I get started. We talked about why and when, and now we're going to do today, of course, what to do. How do you handle these spiritual consequences when they arrive in your life? And they certainly will. So truth or consequences was a reference I made at the early start of the last time I spoke. And it used to be a television game show, and people who did not answer a question truthfully or accurately would have to pay a consequence and perform some crazy stunt. which is what I think we do in our lives. If it's not going right, we got to do some fancy footwork to get through things. So Bob Barker used to say at the end of the show, I hope that all of your consequences are happy ones. And that's the truth. Unfortunately, some of our consequences are not happy ones. But what are spiritual consequences? A little recap here. They're the results of the thoughts, the words, the deeds we do, the things we do, or the things we do not do. Therefore, the bad news is you can't get away from them, because you're constantly doing, thinking. So why? Why did they happen? They happen because you exist. You're here. You're thinking. You're putting energy into the universe. They got to happen. That's why they happen. So that takes care of the why. But the when here, the when is the scary part. Because when do the consequences happen? Well, they can happen immediately, or they can happen over a long term. So when you put a thought, an action, a word out there, the consequence can come back to you right away, or it can take a little time before it gets you. And then the gotcha gets you. I said that right, I think. The gotcha get you. Well, we create these situations, or the causes. And we talked a little bit about the law of cause and effect. So whatever you engender there, whatever the cause is, will have an effect on you and your life. And these causes, these things that we put out into the universe, have repercussions that we can't avoid, as we said before. We are the creators. Things happen not to us, I said this the last time, but because of us. So things are happening in our lives because of the choices, the thoughts, the things we do and say. So we're the creators. Now, the most important part, and I think the thought that I left you with the last time, is that there may be some situations, consequences that occur, either good or bad consequences, and some are not logical. Some we wonder about, why did that happen? What did I do? I don't think I did anything. What did I say? They're happening on a higher level of consciousness, somewhere out in the universe there, on a level of consciousness that you may not be aware of. Things are happening. And because of that, we are unaware of what's going on sometimes. Some circumstances are happening on those levels. Consequences then may be out of our control, and that we can understand. The law of cause and effect cannot be stopped. It's just a spiritual law that is constantly in play, just like the natural laws of nature. The sun comes up, it goes down. We can't control it. But the good news about the law of cause and effect is that we do have some power, because we have power of free will, power of thought. And because of that, we can change what the consequences will be, and we can prevent those consequences if we choose to. And that's where the strength is here spiritually. That's where we get it from. So awareness, as I said the last time, is really the key to understanding how we can control the joy in our lives. And it is doable. So when we are aware of these thoughts, we put ourselves into a different space in our heads. We become more conscious of what we're saying, thinking, and doing. Things don't just plop out of our mouths. Things just don't happen in our lives anymore because we're aware. We are aware. So that was what I wanted to leave you with the last time we spoke. So today it's now, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do to make this life the life that we want, to live the life we have imagined, as Thoreau has said? So we move forward in the direction of our dreams, and we want to live this life that we've imagined. So how do we do it? We can do it. That's the good news. Being aware of your thoughts is the most important step, because what you think, what you feel, motivates what you do. And then when you have all of that in motion, you are creating some heavy duty energy that is going to affect your life in one way or another. Be aware, aware, aware. The law of cause and effect works hand in hand with the law of attraction. And I know there's been a lot said, you know, The Secret, all of that years ago, law of attraction. But basically, it's like attracts like. So if you're putting out negativity, chances are you may be a magnet for negativity. If you're putting out joy, love, you're a magnet for joy and love. You know, birds of a feather, any kind of cliche we want to use. It all means the same thing. So in scientific spiritual circles, the law of attraction. Well, it works with the law of cause and effect. So we have two double whammies on us. So good thoughts equal good spiritual consequences. Negative thoughts equal negative spiritual consequences. All right, so you want to choose the good ones, which I don't have to tell you. Ain't that the truth? But do we choose them? Are we aware enough to make those choices in the moment? One of the things you can do, stop holding on to negative thought. That's very important because when something happens in our lives, we tend to hang on to it. We ruminate over it. We think about it, particularly if it's negative. If it's something that we don't like, we think about it. It keeps coming back into our consciousness. And here is the thing. Dominant thoughts create dominant consequences. So if your dominant thought is this negative situation that you're dealing with or life circumstance, and you keep thinking about it, it's creating an energy like a snowball. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes dominant in your consciousness. Now, your brain can only function so far, even though we always say, oh, you know, we don't even tap into a very small percentage of our brain. Well, that's true. And we have to function from a place of consciousness because we're in consciousness every day. So since it can be at times limited for us, sometimes, not when we're in meditation, then it's unlimited. But when we're walking around in this state, in the beta state here, we have to choose wisely, choose those thoughts and choose to do something about the negative thoughts. Okay, stop holding on to them. Stop ruminating, and I'll tell you how to do that. We have to stop those negative thoughts in their tracks, in the tracks. And what I mean by that is the minute that thought hits you. Now, with practice, this gets easier. But at first, when those thoughts hit, you have to be aware. So, okay, all right, you're going to say, all right, now, oh boy, how am I feeling here? What's going on? Somebody insults you. The first response is an emotional, man, who do they think they are? Huh. Or you could be hurt, deeply hurt. So that hits first. So the emotion's going to hit you. The emotion is energy. The thought then comes, I want to get that person. I'm going to get you. You're going to talk to me like that? I'm going to talk to you like this. Think about the last time you were haggling with somebody on the phone at one of the companies where, you know, you're returning something and they don't want to take it back. And you want to go back and back and back and back and punch and punch and punch. And that's when this energy starts to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay? And then it's too hard to turn back. So you have to nip it in the bud. And the last time we talked, I told you about this little trick I use, which helps. It's called next. You just tell yourself when that thought comes in, you say, next, give me the next thought. Give me the next thought, spirit, because I am not going there. It works. Try it. Because when you do it over and over and over again, it becomes commonplace for you to do it. It's something you do naturally then when something negative hits you. All of a sudden you'll say, oh, wait a minute. You don't have to stop and say, am I aware? Am I this? Am I that? All right. Now, do I have to, rethink that? You don't have to go through those machinations. Once you do it often enough, then it's natural. It's natural. It's like, you remember the first time you tried to drive a car? Holy mackerel. I remember that. Wait, which arm goes out? Which arm goes up? Which way does it go? What do I look at? Where's the Where's the mirror? All of that was very nerve-wracking when you first learn how to drive. But then now we jump in the car. Some of us just push a button and the car goes. Push your spiritual buttons, my friends, because they are there. And you practice and practice and practice, and then it becomes second nature to stop those thoughts, to say next. It goes automatically. It works. So you release these thoughts of depression, agitation, anger, all of those negative emotions that come in to play, engender those thoughts that make you beat yourself up or beat up on somebody else. And you're creating this negativity. Releasing self-pity is a big one because we tend to feel sorry for ourselves a lot. It's a natural thing. It's human, you know. But if the law of attraction is in practice, the more sorry you feel for yourself, the more reasons you will have to feel sorry for yourself, because this will keep coming and coming. So we can't get away from these consequences. We can't escape them unless we take a proactive attempt to do so. Hang on to the good thoughts. I have a very dear friend who always says when something good happens in his life, he's going to milk that thought. He likes that word, milk the thought. And I like that word. I think about it. Wow, you know, keep thinking about peaceful thoughts. Milk those thoughts when something good comes into you about anything, you know, about anything. If someone gives you a wonderful compliment, you know, hang on to that, you know, hang on to it, but not to the compliment itself. Hang on to the way it made you feel. That's what you want to hold on to. How did that make me feel? It made me feel good about me. It was a gift to you. It was a gift that someone gave you. That's what you're holding on to. Wow, that felt good. Not necessarily, oh yeah, I'm gorgeous or whatever it is the compliment was. I haven't heard that one, but I'm only hoping. But whatever that compliment happened to be, you don't have to like use it as an ego trip. You want to use what the feeling was. Thank you for making me feel good about myself if I wasn't already. So hanging on and milking these thoughts is important because good feelings produce good consequences, good spiritual consequences, both spiritually and physically, right? Because the thoughts become things. The thoughts become realities in our lives. We start to manifest through the law of attraction. Our physical world begins to change based on the way we're looking at things, our perception of things, our thoughts of things, thoughts and the creativeness of those thoughts. They are powerful as we believe. So here's what I want you to do as well. Examine your former patterns and expectations. Now, I'm going to ask you to do a little self-awareness trick here. Think about what are the patterns that you have in your mind to different situations and reactions. What I mean by that is, do you react negatively? Do you expect something negative in a certain situation? Some people, unfortunately, walk around in this emotion state of negativity, but most of us don't. But we have occasions when things happen to us where we feel negative about something. And then we stay there. We milk that. We milk the negative instead of the positive. So you need to fight these negative patterns. It's kind of like we expect things to happen a certain way based on the way they have happened in the past. So instead of putting the past in the past, we keep it as a present energy. That hurts you if it's negative. If it's positive, it's fabulous. But if it's negative, it hurts you. But the more you fight these patterns, once you are aware of them and recognize them, they begin to subside. They go away on their own. It's really amazing. Like, I'm going to give an example. Traffic used to be a big thing for me when I was in New York, when I was driving in New York, and I was always hitting traffic. I mean, bumper to bumper, and I was on the way to work or whatever it happened to be, and I was always so aggravated. That's so crazy. Sitting in the car, just getting madder and madder and madder and madder, and looking at my watch and thinking, I don't want to have to leave 2 hours ahead of time to go to work. And sitting in there, and every light I came to and every bumper I went up against, it was so stressful. And finally, one day I said, you're going to explode here, honey, because you gotta do this every day. And my father used to have this thing, he was Italian. He used to go, what are you doing? Because we're from the Bronx. What are you doing? Thanks, Dad. He's probably going, yeah, all right. What are you doing? He's probably thinking. Anyway, what are you doing? What are you doing? Even if you say that to yourself, what am I doing here to myself? What am I doing here? So I'm in traffic thinking, geez, what can I do so this doesn't bother me so much? And it was kind of simple. I hate to say it. I had to choose. I had to decide not to think that way anymore. Think it's easy? I wish it was that easy. It's a simple solution, but it's not that easy. You literally have to say, I will no longer think this way. I will no. So I said the next day, I said, I've had it. I'm not dealing with this anymore. So the next day I got in the car and I said, I don't care. Today, this traffic is not gonna bother me. It's not going to bother me. I had to say it 1,000 times, like I do believe in ghosts. I do believe in ghosts. You remember that? Okay. I had to say it over and over and over again. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother me. And I got in the car. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother me. So I get into the traffic and I think, all right, here's the test. And I said, it's not going to bother me. And instead, I put in a tape in the machine. And those days we actually had tapes we put in the car. And I, at the time, was directing a production of Grease. And so that music is so uplifting, it's the 50s or whatever. That's all up, upbeat. So I stuck that thing in the tape and I start singing at the top of my lungs, every single song. So as I'm sitting in traffic, I'm not noticing it. I am paying attention because I'm not, trying to hit anybody or whatever. But I'm sitting there singing instead of fretting. Then I took to also put books on tape so I could hear something other than pay attention to that stressful situation. These are techniques of distraction, but they create positive consequences. And the funny thing is, the more I did that, the less traffic there was. I know, right? Talk about manifesting, law of attraction, right? So maybe, I don't know how the universe does it. I can't even begin to tell you, but things happen like that. And before I knew it, I was getting to work earlier and I'm thinking, wow, there wasn't too much traffic today. How'd that happen? And then eventually it was not a stressful journey. And I thought, wow, how come? But I didn't want to know the answer. I just was happy that it happened. And I just kept that practice going with everything, not just the traffic. I was directing an opera. Oh. Opera singers are exceptionally talented people, and they are very, 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 very much into their instrument, because that's what they got. It's an instrument. It really is. It's astounding. And I was directing 4 opera singers in kind of a concert version of a show of an opera. And the mezzo-soprano was a very difficult lady. Everybody else was nice. And when I give a little direction, they would think about it and then they would probably do it. Okay. So that when you're a director, you have to have a vision of the entire show. And you're the only one with the vision. And you have to make sure every cog in the wheel, every cog in the wheel.
Needs a battery.
Oh, okay. So I'll keep talking loudly. Every cog in the wheel then has to gel, because if it doesn't gel, then the show is no good. That's why there is a director, because there's a single vision, so that things then conform to that vision, and then it becomes effective and a good show. So when you continue to move forward in that direction, how we doing? Okay. We're working. Okay. We're getting there, everybody. You hear me? All right. So we're moving in that direction. And so I had this wonderful singer. She was fabulous. She was fabulous. I mean, I can't tell you what a voice, wonderful talent. I was thrilled to have the opportunity to work with her. But every time I asked her to do something, she said she was not going to do it. She said, I'm not going to do it. Just like that. She said, I'm not doing it. And you know what I asked her to do was like, can you, on that phrase of the music, can you step 2 steps to the right? I'm not going to do it. Okay. All right. What do you mean you're not going to do it? You know, I'm the director. It's my vision. You have to do what I tell you to do. Oh, imagine going to rehearsal every day, 8 hours, and arguing with somebody to please take 2 steps to the right. It's not important to you, but it makes a huge difference to the rest of the company that's on stage with you. You're not standing in front of them, blocking them. But I couldn't get through. So I did my best, you know, to argue back. So then I thought about my time in the traffic, and I said, you know, when I changed my attitude about the traffic, it worked. So let me see, if it's going to work with this. So I tried it. So the next time we went to rehearsal, because I had had enough, the next time I asked her to do something, I gave her some direction, and she said, I'm not doing that. I said, okay. And then I asked another member of the cast to do it. And that member said, sure. 2 steps. Every time I gave a direction, I'm not doing that. Fine. Excuse me, would you cross over here? Okay. About a week later, she came to me and she said, I have had enough of this. I'm leaving. I said, hasta la vista, baby. You know, I mean, I thought, I think this stuff works. The less agitated I became about it, the less negative energy I contributed to the situation. The consequences became softer, better. I didn't ask her to leave. I didn't fire her. I didn't do a darn thing except say, okay, and have someone else do what I needed to have done for the show itself. It will work that way. The consequences will change. You can change them. You can prevent the consequences that you think might happen from the attitude you have by not having the attitude. When I was teaching high school, I used to, and the kids would get, you know, really crazy sometimes. And I would say, hey, don't cop a tude with me, please. And I won't cop a tude with you. So we got along great. We got along great. Think about what the consequences of what you think, do, and say will be. You can't anticipate it in certain situations when you get the emotion out of the way. Get the emotion out of the way first. Then you can look at it and say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Look at the patterns. Look at the patterns. Don't expect the worst. Expect the best. Don't expect something is going to be awful. Oh, I'm going to get in this traffic. It's going to be terrible again today. Oh, I got to go to work and deal with this awful person. Don't anticipate doom. Don't expect the worst. Expect the best. Say, yeah, this person may be difficult today. but not for me. Maybe for somebody else. Keep those thoughts rolling, because then they become dominant thoughts. The consequences shift. You can prevent, you can change. You can change anything if you put enough of your energy and will, intent, as we believe, into it. Intend something, and you will see that it will form before your eyes. You will manifest it. Even if you know nothing about the law of attraction, the law of this, the law of that, doesn't matter. Think about intention. What am I intending here? What do I want to see is the result? What's the consequence? Put that stuff in your head. Don't worry about all the rest of it. Doesn't have to be a formal learning. This is simple enough to understand. Tell yourself, I will not think this way anymore. Tell yourself, I will stop being upset about this person, about the traffic, about the situation. I am not going to do it anymore. Keep the good patterns and the good thoughts. Keep them rolling. Expect the good things. Expect success. Expect joy. Expect peace. Expect it. Say to yourself, I expect this today. I'm expecting to have a great day, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. I expect to have a good day, no matter what happens. Think about the ability that you have to handle difficult situations, because you have handled them in the past in your life. You have. You have. Think about how you came through. Think about that. You're still standing. You're still here. No matter what hit you, you're still here. And I'm just going to keep talking because you can't shut me up. I'm on a roll. Hey, yeah. All right. Yeah. You can take the girl out of the Bronx, but you cannot take the Bronx out of the girl. I'm moving forward. You keep moving. You reflect on times when things were good, even if they don't apply directly to the situation. So what was the feeling when you got that compliment, you know? So you deal with a difficult person. Think about when somebody said something nice to you. Oh, that's right. You know, it doesn't even have to be the same situation. Just reflect on the feeling. Go back to what felt good. Bring a thought back from the past that felt good. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Hold those thoughts of joy. How did I feel? Why was it so good for me? What did it do for me? Because when you're happy, it goes out into the universe. The energy keeps moving out there. And when you're happy, other people get happy. It's electric. It's electric. When you put it out there, it's going to stay out there. It's electric. So you keep that going. You keep it going out there into the universe. You make that thing grow and grow and grow. And the consequences will be fabulous and not difficult. Hold those thoughts of joy. Hold on. Make different choices. The results will be different. Okay, so I saw a movie with Jennifer Lopez last week or something. I don't even remember what the movie was, but I remembered this. Her character had a line in the movie, and she said, if you want something different, do something different. And it stuck with me. I went, wish I had written that. So I changed it a little bit, and I said, if you want something different, think something different. That's what we believe. That's what we hold on. And it works. And it works. Remind yourself of this gotcha experience. That, yeah, things are going to get you. Things are going to get you. Rhythm's going to get you. Gloria Estefan, rhythm's going to it's going to get you. And you're going to get it right back. You're going to handle it. You're going to move forward. You're going to get through it. Do what you have to do to stay strong. You pray, you meditate, you affirm. You do what you do because the universe wants you to be happy. God doesn't want you to live a miserable life. Those experiences are there so you can create the joy. You have the opportunity to create the joy. So keep doing it. That's why you're here, creating joy, not only for yourself, but for everybody else around you. When mama's happy, everybody's happy. Right? Yeah, do what you gotta do, my friends. And those unwanted consequences will be wanted because you will start directing them. I have an affirmation for you. All right, you ready? I am responsible for my life. All my thoughts, words, and actions have spiritual consequences, and through them I intend to create a loving, joyful, and peaceful existence, and so it is. And let's repeat it. You ready? I am responsible for my life. All my thoughts, words, and actions have spiritual consequences, and through them I intend to create a loving, joyful, and peaceful existence. And so it is. Hallelujah. And so thank you. Thank you. Until the next time I see you, I'm going to take my cue, not only from Bob Barker, but also from Dusty Springfield. Remember her? Because I'm wishing, I'm hoping, I'm thinking, and I'm praying that all of your consequences are happy ones. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Thank you. Oh boy, I'm going to milk this moment for quite a long time. Thank you, everybody. In your mind and carry it on with you. I'm going to do that. I'm taking it with me.
How fabulous is that? And next time you come, Reverend Adrian, I want you to bring a prop. And this is what I'm thinking. I've got so many takeaways from this about how to live a really good life on the smooth path. And if I find that my mind is on a negative thought, I'm going to picture your papa there going, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm going to switch right there. Thank you. Thank you. That was truly, truly beautiful. We're all going to be laughing all day, aren't we? I think so. I think so. So we are having an interesting time here. I kind of thought that maybe, I got it back. I thought that maybe Alan had played a trick on Reverend Adrian to see if he could break her resolve. But you noticed it didn't work. She said, I'm going to keep on going. And so am I. So it's our offertory. Are you all going to keep on going? Yes, you are. And yes, I am too. And you can't cut me off either, Alan. So I'm going to keep on going. So give generously wherever you go in life to the things that are important to you. And thank you for being part of our prosperous community as we move forward with our new ministers. And now for our choir. Our prosperity blessing. Well, it got me for just a moment, but I'm going to say this prosperity blessing twice as loud. All right, join me in saying joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.